One love, God bless. Fire Nelson here. I'm out here in beautiful nature. But I want to talk to you about the illusion and how they have been forcing this illusion on us since a child, since birth, truthfully. You know, the illusion that they, by the big industry, by the corporation of hospitals and big pharma and all these, you know, boundaries that we have to push ourselves through just to be even born into this world. We are born into this world, first of all, in such an artificial setting 9 times out of 10. If you're born in nature in any type of way, just know that you are blessed. Because 9 out of 10 times you're going to be born in a hospital setting, in a setting that is so artificial, with artificial lights, with all these people with, you know, white lab coats and all these unnatural colors in nature. Like, you don't see anything white behind me, you know. Not saying there isn't white in nature, but it's just not common in nature. You know, there's white flowers, there's white certain elements of nature, of course, but in general, something just being white isn't, you know, long lasting in nature. So we're automatically born in this sterile environment. And then on top of that, they shoot us up with these injections of who knows what type of chemicals and things like this. And this just adds on to us not getting the best start in this life. It adds on to our mind being clouded, our senses being clouded, and us being more acceptable to the illusion. You know, sometimes we are actually perfect and don't need anything when we come out of our mother. You know, I don't know why this is such a crazy thing, and it's not a sometimes thing, it's most times. But, you know, I just wanted to say sometimes. But you have to actually realize this, that sometimes babies come out and they don't need anything else. They just need to feed on that placenta line. They need to feed on that line of life for a little bit longer before they just cut it off. And they will be perfectly fine. You know, sometimes, of course, people are born, you know, with certain diseases, or they're born too early and things like this. But in general, we don't need as much of these sterilizations and these, what's it even called? Immune system boosting shots, and, you know, I don't know what they call it nowadays. Vaccines. They call it vaccines. These immune boosting shots, you know, but they cut off the umbilical cord right away. So we have to realize that when we let ourselves be ran by this illusion, we're truly letting ourselves be ran by corporations. We're truly letting ourselves be ran by corruption. And 9 times out of 10, we've been, you know, indoctrinated into this cycle since birth. You know, this is what I'm saying, that we've been, you know, passed into this illusion since birth, and we haven't stopped it. We just kept on eating the potato chips. We kept on drinking the Kool-Aid, not realizing that it was destroying us, not realizing that it was numbing us, most importantly, to what actually matters, to actually connecting with people, to actually having empathy and feelings for people, to actually having a mind of our own that's connected, though, with the Most High and the highest elevation of this entire ecosystem, not just self. Now everybody is just worried about self. Now everybody just wants to do for self and be successful for self and gain for self. But there's so much more out there. You know, when we just do for self, we limit ourselves. We limit the amount of not only success and, you know, whatever else you could have, money, importance, whatever else, you know, these egotistic things. But we also limit how much we can help others, how much we can involve others into a universal change. We're not here to live in this illusion and to keep on working our 9 to 5 and repeat the habits of daily life. We're here to connect with others. You hear this? It's a whole different birds connecting with other birds, and they just came over, you know? And now they're probably in the same tree, just having a big meeting, just enjoying life. This is what life is about. Connecting with others, being in nature, flying high, using your purpose, using your abilities for a greater good, not just for your own self. To connect with others and connect with the Most High. But we've been stuck in this illusion that we need to chase this money, we need to chase this thing, we need to chase this car, we need to chase these nice clothes, we need to chase these women, these men, we need to chase these politics, chase these land, this oil, you know? We've gotten to a place where war is normal, where corruption is normal. If corruption is on our front porch, though, it's a different story. But for us, corruption is normal. War is normal because people aren't out here crying in the streets every single day about it, right? So it must be normal. And this is the sad thing. They have tricked us into such a numb state, such an illusionary state, that we can't even truly understand what rebellion is, what having your own mindset that's connected with the whole divine source is. We're going back to work on Monday, you know? Somebody just got bombed. Somebody's just, you know, even a fire happened. Somebody just killed a bunch of people, and we just go right back to work. It's much more to life than what they try to portray to us. There's much more to be accessed. There's much more empathy to be had. There's much more that you can do. You know, I'm not talking about just quitting your entire life completely and this and that, but what I'm talking about is actually using your time to help the environment, to help others. Using your ability to not continue to cause more chaos in this world. Don't continue the illusion. Don't think that you have to just, you know, work your whole life away and be a slave to the system and not have a voice, and that you're nothing, and that you know, have to be rich to be a superstar, or have to be, you know, in this city or in this state or in any place that you're not at right now. Where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. So utilize that opportunity of where you're at right now. You have a voice, you have an opinion. Now connect that voice and that opinion with a higher source. Go to spiritual teachings, go to self-help books, and then go to spiritual teachings if that's where you're called to. But self-help books especially will help you get into a mindset of abundance, get into a mindset of, oh, I am a part of this change that I want to see. Every single thing matters, and you definitely matter. So stop being asleep in this illusionary world and start waking up to the real world, which I'm sure you are, or else you wouldn't have stumbled upon this video. So lean into that spiritual calling, lean into that self-help calling, lean into that self-love calling, because that self-growth, that self-love is going to expand into a worldly love, a worldwide love, because every single thing matters. You touch this person in a kind way, by your kind words, by your kind actions, by your example alone, and they might be inspired to follow suit, help others, be kind to others, be loving to others, want to speak out as well. You never know who you're impacting. You never know who you change. You never know how big your voice or your presence can be. But this illusionary world wants to dumb you down, make you think that you need them. You need these vaccines. You need these scientists. You need these doctors. You need all these things in your life that you don't really need. So wake up and realize your worth. And if you haven't, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I appreciate everybody that's already doing that. One love. Ciao.